Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 30th of January, 2024. So, yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, where is it? The content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can, you can reach out to us. And yes, so yeah, welcome everyone who's tuning in today, right now. So yes, thank you very much for doing that. I hope you're all having a wonderful start of Tuesday. Just a quick shout out in the chat room here. Good morning, everyone. So, good morning, everyone, guys. I mean, just, I don't know. You can also say hello. It'll make me very happy about this. So it seems like it'll show that I'm not alone here. Hopefully, yes. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Who's tuning in? Thank you very much for those who are watching this as a recorded session as well, because this will be available after. But yeah, look, thank you very much for the rockets already. I can see those coming through. So yes, thank you very much. So yes, guys, look, let's jump into the charts. I have a big list to go through as always. By the way, whoever's new to this, this is the big list that I go through on the right here. So hey, hopefully you will find something useful in here. Now, Nikkei 225, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. And yes, this morning we got the Japanese unemployment number, which improved. So basically, there's like 2.4% unemployment in Japan. Wow, I mean, that's, yes, that's magnificent. Job application ratio fell. So yeah, basically jobs to application ratio. So that means like there's less jobs to number of applications. So normally we get like the number almost the same all the time. As like this, the ratio was, last one was 1.28, and now this one's came out at 1.27. So okay, look, that's of course is a little bit on the negative side here for Nikkei 225. From the technical perspective, I talked about this before. I said that as long as we stay below the 36,278 territory, this is what I mentioned yesterday, then yes, I will continue aiming slightly to the downside. Not very bearish or anything, no, but just slightly to the downside. In terms of the upside, I need to pop back above the 36,425 territory right here, and then we could take it from there. This week, tomorrow, we'll get more data from Japan. We'll get the retail sales figures, industrial production forecast numbers, so industrial production numbers. Well, I mean, the preliminary one, of course, but that one is expected to actually improve. So let's see how that's going to play out, of course. But at this point in time, we are being very careful with Nikkei because there is a chance for this one to maybe correct back down. However, I'm not rushing into things. Just why? Because on Wednesday we have the Fed, so the Fed interest rate decision, and that could shift a little bit the market. So yeah, let's wait and see for now. But if everything stays as it is, I'm leaning a little bit more towards towards the downside on this one for a little bit of a correction. ASX 200. So beautiful move. Look at this. One of my targets got reached, 7,600. We came very close to testing that. I mean, I'll actually take it as a success. And yep, we drifted back down. We drifted back closer to this territory, the 7,530.20 area. So what does that mean? That means that there is a possibility for a move back to the downside. However, where's that? Thicken it up a little bit. So yes, however, I need to see a drop back below this territory, back below this highlighted zone in order to consider some lower levels. This way I will aim for that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci again, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. So long story short, for now, I am observing the price action here, and yes, if we do remain above this highlighted zone here, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. I will go for that. It's not the all-time high, no, because that's Nikkei. Nikkei's all-time high was like in the 1990s or something like that, 89. I can't remember. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm expecting this one to go a little bit higher if we continue to trade above this territory. If we drop below it, then yes, a little bit of a move lower here could be possible. In terms of economic data, by the way, tomorrow also together with the Japanese data, we will be expecting the Australian CPI numbers. So, and also the Chinese composite and manufacturing. So today, in terms of today, from Australia, we only got the retail sales numbers, and actually that might have contributed to this kind of decline here a little bit, because the number came out at minus 2.7 against the forecasted minus 1.0. So that means that the economy is not really, let's say, you know, performing that good as everybody thought, you know. So these are little drops back into reality kind of, you know, are coming out right now. So yes, not everything is that, you know, good, because look, the previous number was at plus 1.6 and the forecast was already for a minus 1.1%. So, and it came out minus 2.7. So of course, you know, that's the reaction we're getting here right now. China 50. So the upper side of the falling channel held nicely, and this is what I talked about, guys. This is what I kept on saying. So just be very cautious, careful with this, and there we go. I needed to see a pop above this downside line, above that 50-day EMA, and additionally above that 11,386 territory right here. If that would have played out nicely here, if we could have seen a push above that area, then yes, higher levels could be met near the 11,562 or, you know, or further north. However, that did not happen. The breakout did not happen. Instead, we dropped lower. But the only thing is that I said to you that I'm not really going to get very bearish yet until I see it drop below that 11,000 mark, because that one so far is doing a good job. Look, in China in general, the situation is very interesting. Of course, the housing market is still a big topic, just because the housing market right now, I mean, there was an order by the Hong Kong court, if I'm not mistaken, to liquidate Evergrande. So yeah, one of the biggest house builders in China, and there we go. I mean, all the saga that started off in last year, like the first half of last year. I mean, and it was ongoing. There were attempts to save it, but I think that's it. That's it. That's the final kind of straw. So this is where Chinese indices are kind of worried a little bit, and China 50, we can see a reaction right now in this one. Yeah, at the moment, I would say that there is potential for this one to push further south, unless somehow it gets a boost from the Chinese data for tomorrow. Let me just double check what are the expectations. So tomorrow we get the Chinese composite, manufacturing, and non-manufacturing PMIs. All the numbers are expected to, apart from the composite PMI, all the numbers are expected to improve a little bit. If they manage to improve by more than the forecast, then yep, maybe this could bring this index back up. However, Again, I think that the index will remain subject to what's happening in the mm, in the housing market right now. Because if one got a kick like this, I mean, will the other ones get saved or not? Because Evergrande is not the only one that's suffering right now in terms of Chinese builders. There are other ones as well. The only other ones that are just like a little bit more maybe cash rich, or less exposure. Or again, maybe I'm wrong on this one. So just like I said, at the moment, I mean, everybody's going to be watching other ones, and this is where the index might not recover that much I mean, if we as much as we would like it to recover. However, of course, if the news come out saying that China will, the government will support other builders, so Evergrande was kind of that kind of goat that everybody kind of took a kick at, or whatever. Maybe the other ones will recover, and maybe this is where it will actually strengthen other companies because they will get more money from the government, and maybe this will allow them to stay afloat. So Evergrande maybe just kind of was sacrificed for the greater good. Yeah, let's jump into the U.S. indices. Dow Jones Industrial Average, talking about a beautiful move here. Look at this. I mean, new all-time high. I talked about this yesterday. In general, don't forget that we are in the earnings season right now, so we do have a bunch of companies that are reporting. And today we get the Microsoft, we get the Alphabet, we get the AMD, Pfizer, UPS, Starbucks, yep, Chubb, Marathon Petroleum. So yeah, guys, General Motors as well, Johnson Control, Cisco, Electronic Arts, a lot. And it doesn't stop with only today. This week we get some more companies. So tomorrow, MasterCard, Boeing, ADP, like MetLife, yeah. So, and then next week and on Thursday we'll get Apple, Amazon, Merck, Honeywell. So yeah, big names, big reports, big earnings, could be. Let's see how they're going to play out. But in the meantime, the index is pushing higher, and I think that it might today continue doing so, unless it's just gonna start like moving sideways until we come into Wednesday and into Wednesday's Fed decision. So yes, I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna rush into things yet. Overall, from the technical perspective, I'm leaning towards the upside just because we popped above my 38,300 zone, and I talked about this one. So now my next target is somewhere around that 38,500, which we reached yesterday, by the way. Yes, I mean, so let's put it here. Just where's my magnet? So yeah, yesterday on the futures we reached almost reached that 38,500, but I'll take that as a success. So now my next question is, can we clear that one, and can we go further north? So we cleared the 300. Can we clear the 500 now, and eventually go towards my 39,000 mark? Well, that would be quite interesting to see. I have, like I said, the area here, the midpoint between the 50 and the 61% on my Fibonacci extension. The market does like these midpoints as well. So the 39,000 kind of what 39,000. What is it? What's the number here that I have? 39,180 approximately. That's on the futures. So good potential target, but again, we need to grind slowly towards that. So for now, long story short, excuse me, keeping an eye on that 38,500. If we can clear that, wonderful. I'll go higher. The S&P 500. So yes. By the way, guys, I mean, whoever's in here, just give me a quick shout out, like hi or something like that, because again, it seems like I'm like alone here in my webinar. Yeah, hopefully you can hear me and see me well. So yes, but yeah. I would really appreciate if somebody would say just at least hi, so that would lighten up my day. But yeah, coming back to the S&P 500, and also the same story played out nicely. The 4,933, I talked about this level. So we got a nice clearance, and the forthcoming higher high was confirmed. So we, as long as we remain above that territory, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. Agomez 69, hi there, hi there. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Really, really, honestly, like, I think I need to make it as a ritual, like just to kind of ask everybody to say hi in the morning, you know. But yeah, thank you very much. Honestly, I really appreciate that, and I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful start of Tuesday. But yeah, coming back to the S&P 500. By the way, Agomez, where are you based? Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious. I mean, of my demographics. So yeah, S&P 500, I will continue targeting that psychological 5,000 mark on the futures. On the cash, it might be a little bit lower, but still, on the futures, I'm targeting that psychological 5,000 mark. Let's see if we can get there. Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, it did not go for the all-time high, but getting there in a way. Getting there. Norway. Norway. Hey. Hey, happy to see you here. Yes, what's the temperature right now in there? Minus what? Minus what? Tell me, in your place, or actually, is it actually normal? You know, is it actually good? And well, actually, you know what? I prefer minus 20 and plus 20. You know, like, or let's say minus 25 and plus 25. That's what I prefer. I don't like this like this air range near zero or just a little bit above zero. I really don't like it. It's like normally it's like wet and windy. Yeah, minus 25, you know, that's something that's I really enjoy. Or like let's say plus 25 and above as well. So these little extremes. But yeah, let me know what's the temperature right now in Norway, where you are, So yeah, Nasdaq 100. The picture here is, yes, it's looking quite positive in a way because we climbed back above my 61.8. But we're struggling with the all-time high. It's actually +1 now. +1. Okay. You're in the south, and so it's like Oslo area, probably somewhere right there. Okay. And of course, yes. I mean the closer to the Gulf Stream, then yes. Yeah, 1 hour south of Oslo. Okay. And yeah, probably closer to the closer to the Gulf Stream, then yes, gets you get weather like that. It's probably rainy, right, and wet right now. So now I'd rather go to somewhere like anything above Trondheim. Trondheim, yes, it would be nicer probably. Anyway, so Nasdaq 100. Yes. Looking at the picture here, like I said, I need to see that pop above the 17,792 right here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. If I can get that push, wonderful, great. More buyers could join in here, and we could see a move, you know, towards that 18,000 mark on my futures, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. The German index DAX, and there we go. So far, so good. We continue to climb higher. We remain above the upper side of the falling channel, which I talked about. Yeah, but this winter we actually had 1 meter of snow, but it's almost gone now. Yeah, yeah, last week probably, right? I mean, everybody was like getting colder weather last week, but now, yeah, I think that's why we have natural gas dropping heavily because, again, yes, the weather forecasts are towards slightly warmer days in the northern hemisphere. But yeah. Yeah, wink back at you. Anyway, thank you for sharing that. That's actually quite cool. That's actually quite cool. It's really fun to see, you know, when people are from different regions, and you know, I know that I have somebody from Iran here as well, so slightly warmer weather. Probably again, I don't know. So yes, tell me, anybody else who wants to share what's the weather right now in your place, just out of curiosity, you know. But yeah, thank you, Agomez 69. Thank you very much. So the German index, coming back to this one, so far so good. Look, I mean, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one just because it is doing everything what I asked it to do. It broke the upper side of the falling channel. It remained above it. And it remained above that 16,971 territory. Climbed above the psychological 17,000 mark as well. And yep, now I'm targeting that 17,200 zone, and then we will just go from there because that's the all-time high. And we'll see if we can, you know, if we can reach that, and we can maybe create a new one by the end of this month. And by the end of this month, today, or it's either today or tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, like I said, a beautiful day tomorrow. It will be the end of the last day of the month, and yes, we also have the Fed, so that could kind of you know, drive the market. The FTSE 100, very quickly. So we found good resistance near my level, the 7,660 zone. Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely great. So now what's next? Next is this, that if we want to go further north, a push above that 7,660 territory here is required. This upside line needs to go, and I would like to see a drop below below this territory, below that 7,576 territory right here. If we can get that drop, maybe at the same time we could see a drop below all my EMAs, because maybe they could curve to the upside here, and then, you know, all the stars would align beautifully. But yeah, for now I'm looking at it this way, that if we do continue to trade somewhere in this territory, I will just remain flat and I'll just observe the price action. Yes, so like I said, the upside scenario here for me is that's something that I'm still examining, but of course, given the sharp up move here we had, maybe a bit of a retracement back down here could be possible at some point. However, I'll get more comfortable with the downside on a drop below the 7,576, 74 territory, somewhere around here, and then we could take it from there. US dollar index. This one continues to flirt, nothing major, continues to, and to be honest, I mean, I'm not expecting anything else up until Wednesday's Fed. It might just kind of bounce around here, so yeah, we'll just have to observe the price action to see what's happening there. But long story short, I would say for now, I'm cautiously bullish. However, I need to see the body of the daily candles remaining above the 200-day EMA, and if we can get that, if we can stay above that territory, then yes, great, more buyers could join in, and then we could take it from there. For the downside, a drop below the 102.83 territory, 80 zone, something like that, is required in order to go lower. Gold, it was a big pain in the bottom yesterday. I mean, it was trying to push higher. At one point I said, look, in general I said this, that as long as we push above this downside line and stay above it, yes, I'm going to lean towards the upside. And yesterday we pushed higher. We got a beautiful move to the upside, but then everything started selling off very quickly just before, I think when the market started opening, when the market opened up, the stock market, or actually no, before the stock market opened up, it declined. I mean, this is the drift lower. I mean, a sharp decline here. Look, almost what, like a $15 drop. Just bear with me one moment. My throat is kind of getting dry. So there we go, like a motor. Need to start it off. Anyway, so yeah, basically yesterday was like a bit of a tease, and we drifted back, you know, back down. But looking at this picture here, we managed to stay above the 50-day EMA. We did get a false breakout, but then yes, we remained above it, and today we're seeing a nice good push. So in general, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside, to be honest, because this is just, like I said, this is just very much looking like a potential ascending triangle pattern. Let me show you what I mean. Something like that. So according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the upside. However, we need a confirmation break first. So, okay, the first part of the upside scenario is working out. We're breaking the downside line. Now the next part is to break the 2038 zone right here. If we can get that move here, wonderful, great. I will consider some higher levels here, and then we could just kind of take it from there. Long story short, at the moment, no net, Bashiro, no nat gas, no nat gas. Look, I can take a look. It's just that sometimes I can take a look at that one. I can take a look at nat gas, but I think that's going to be quite similar to what's happening in like what was yesterday. So let me just quickly add this one into the list. Yes, and I'll take a look at it the usual after oil. But yeah, coming back to gold, yes, gold for me is somewhat bullish, and one part of, like I said, the bullish scenario is working out, breaking the downside line, but 2038 zone is something that I'm watching right now. If that gets cleared, well, a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. Silver. Silver is slowly grinding higher. We reached one of my areas here of resistance near this, near these two EMAs. So yeah, I mean, look, my next target is this 2000. Oh, sorry, 2000. Thinking about gold. No problem, Bashiro. No problem. So yes, coming back to the to this silver, 23.534, something like that area. That's what I'm going to be targeting if we do clear these EMAs. At the moment, it's a good area of resistance, so don't rush into things. In general, if you are already in this trade, okay, great. You can keep on holding it with a stop loss probably somewhere above the entry price. But if you're not, then I would look. As much as I like it to the upside, I do understand that there are obstacles here and like these EMAs. But again, all the obstacles can be overtaken, so that's not a problem. So we can overcome that, and we could go for that 23.54 territory right here, and then we could just kind of take it from there. For the downside, I like to see it drop. Well, the downside, as much as I like this territory, I have to say goodbye to it, I think, because okay, it's still okay-ish, but I think that it's better to just kind of keep an eye on this little short-term upside line. And if that gets cleared, yes, we could go a little bit more to the downside here. Platinum, something that I look at occasionally, but and I do like this one actually. And look at this, it's pushing back up. It's pushing above the 911 zone right here, so in a way, everything's looking quite nice, quite positive on platinum. And in general, I talked about this previously, and there we go. One of my levels, one of my scenarios worked out. So my scenario was to aim for that 38.2. Tick, fantastic, good result. Now what's next? Next is the 50%. Let's see if we can reach that one. But for that, we need to see a clearance of the, this one needs to go, a clearance of the 38.2. If we can clear that, great. I will go further north. Copper, just a quick one on this one, because yesterday I spoke about this as well. So what I said that, look, we could be forming something of a bullish flag, and so far it seems like that. So look, we've got a hold up here near this 3.84 zone. I talked about this as well. Yeah, so far this is working out nicely, and in general I'm kind of leaning towards the upside. However, again, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, a push above this barrier here is needed. So the 3.89 zone is something that I'm watching. If we can get a nice clearance of that, then yes, great. More buyers could join in here, and we could go for those higher levels, like for the highest point of December, or maybe going towards that psychological 4 level. But again, let's go slowly on this. Let's not rush into things. Again, this will get also impacted by the Fed. Just why? Because the dollar will get impacted, and this is denominated in dollars, US dollars. So just be a little bit more on the careful side with this one. Oil, there we go. We're drifting back down. So look, I said this yesterday to you, and I will repeat this again. Yes, there are tensions in the Red Sea. Yes, there are issues, geopolitical, right? The only thing is that supply is still there. And until we get to this stage or situation where everybody will start cutting supply, all the producers will start cutting supply, then we'll see some sort of action, to the upside, but like stronger action to the upside, craziness or something. But at this point, everything's kind of still okay. So yes, more fuel used for ships to go around around Africa, but I mean, been there, done that. So, like I said, the market is, unless people will start over exaggerating this thing, then yes, we could see, oil popping higher strongly. At this point, I really don't like where we are. So, what I want to really do is I want to remove everything and start fresh. My first glance here is that I'm looking at the EMAs, and I can see that we've crossed the EMAs here to the downside. And although it seems like we want to cross them back up here, I would kind of stay a little bit, careful with this, because I'll give you an example right here. I always wanted to do one of these. Let me just do this here. There we go. I always wanted to do something like an eclipse here, like a drawing, to draw an eclipse. So basically, this is what I'm talking about. So the same story could be happening around here. There we go. So we got across. We crossed the 50, the 100. Then we saw a strong reaction back to the upside, where we tested the 200-day EMA. At some point, we even overcame the 200-day EMA. But then look what happened. We just kind of started sliding and sliding. So that's why I don't want people to kind of get way too positive yet on this one, because maybe this has been just a part of a nice little correction, here. So let's just double check the Fibonacci. 38.2 if we draw it this way. If we draw it that way, it's 50%. So again, it's a little bit on the subjective side. I mean, it's nothing major like that you need to kind of stick to here, but is just for like extra confirmation or something like that. But in general, what I want to say is that we saw the 50-day EMA coming closer to the 100-day EMA, kind of curving back up, and this is what we're seeing here. But the question, will we actually see that push back up? If we do once again push back above the 200-day EMA and stay above that, okay, then there is a chance for a larger, correction to the upside here. But at this point, I'm not really getting that bullish yet, especially if we see like a slowdown in economy. If let's say a slowdown in consumer spending, if we get that, then what do you expect from from oil? What, to continue climbing higher if there's like lower demand? Come on. Natural gas. So Bashiro, natural gas just for you. But like I said, it's the same story here. Look, I talked about this yesterday. Just a quick recap. So basically, I said to you that as long as we stay below this upside line, below this 2.23, 24 zone, then yes, I'll continue targeting the downside. In general, I do like that psychological 2 level. But I think somehow I I don't want to say like a feel. In general, I don't like to use feelings, but yeah, it seems like it could drift further south, and it could drift even below the lowest point of 2023, which is around in 1.95 zone, approximately around here. But what could happen here, for example, we could see a drift lower, a test of this territory, maybe even actually a breakout, and if we stay below it, then yes, of course, lower levels could be met. But if we struggle to stay below this hurdle, then maybe a nice rebound back up could be possible. So just keep that in mind. In terms of this one, oh, by the way, in case it doesn't go all the way to that, maybe the psychological 2 level will be enough for it. It will test it, and it will rebound from it and then push back up. Yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. We can examine that. This upside line, although it got broken, violated, I'm still going to keep it for the time being, just to see if there's going to be any kind of I don't know, it will support it in any way. But in terms of the upside, I would actually, well, depending on where we're going to trade, I would like to start looking at this one from earlier a little bit, but actually I think that I will start looking at this one if we do push back above this little territory. Let me just highlight that for our future reference. So if we do push back above this little territory right here, so if we climb back above this, above this 2.24 zone, then yes, I will consider a move higher. Bitcoin. So yeah, Bashiro, I don't know if this answers your question. So hopefully, but or I don't know if it helps you out in any way, but yes, like I said, that's my take. Somebody maybe has a different view on it, but that's my take. Just trying to be kind of logical, and but yeah, for sure, you're welcome. You're welcome. So Bitcoin, let's jump into this one. Okay, look, okay, mission accomplished because I targeted the 23.6 again here, and fantastic. We got a nice good test of it. So if you're looking for some higher levels again, then a break above that 44,000 mark, maybe somewhere here, yes, would be needed in order to go higher. So we did pick up some demand, but you know what? I don't want to. I don't know why, but maybe I'm missing the rally. Maybe I'm missing the strong move here. But you know, I was hoping to see this one actually to go lower, much lower, and well, my much lower, maybe into the 35 area, 35,000 area. But it came closer to the 38,000 mark, and then kind of reversed back up. So yeah, look, at this point, I'm gonna examine this one, let's say, to the upside if we do push and stay above that 44,000 mark. If we struggle, maybe a bit of a retracement here back down could be possible. Something like this. But let's see. Let's see if that's going to work out or not. At the moment, I am just observing the price action. Bitcoin Cash, this is where, that's why I'm saying Bitcoin, yes, it's pushing higher, but I think the whole hype is about, agree, you look for further downside for the moment as well. You mean on natural gas? Because I think that the comments are coming a little bit late, and I was already talking about Bitcoin. So if you're referring to natural gas, then yes, I agree. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, whenever, guys, just to let you know, whenever, let's say, if you're commenting on something, if you're referring to some sort of an instrument, please do mention that instrument. Why? Because I've noticed that the comments do come to me very like sometimes with a delay, and I might be talking about something else already because I have a big list to go through, and just yeah, it's just like I said, just a little technical thing here. I mean, but yeah. But yeah, coming back to Bitcoin Cash, look, this is the reason why I'm kind of a little bit like skeptical with the seeing strong rally in crypto. I want to see a bit of a decline. I want to see, especially if DXY starts pushing strongly to the upside, well, this could bring all these cryptos a little bit lower. And yes, I mean, at the moment I am watching this one, Bitcoin Cash, we're still in the range. We're still struggling with this 245 territory, which so provides a good resistance. If we do break that, this may attract more buyers into the game. Let's jump into Forex. AUDUSD. So yesterday we had a good move, good run to the upside. We tested the downside line and we broke it, and we're now above it. So great. In a way, there is a chance for this one to move higher, but look, let's put it this way. As long as we stay above this downside line drawn from the high of the 28th of December, then yes, I will continue aiming higher. But for the downside, I need to see a drop below the 0.6525 territory right here, and then we could just kind of take it from there. So a nice good drop below that area, below that hurdle would confirm a forthcoming lower low. AUDJPY is something that I'm watching here as well. And yes, if we do break the downside line here, or should I say the upper side of this triangle, then yes, great, more buyers could join in. But keeping an eye on that 97.80 zone, that's my gateway for some higher levels, and I think that this highlighted zone needs to be dragged this way here. So yeah, so if a nice good push above the 97.80 zone, then yes, could attract more buyers into the game. For the downside, the same story is valid. A drop below the 50-day EMA here is required in order to go lower. And another thing, remember that this pair is the risk on, risk off environment monitor. So if we suddenly see indices rallying, then we could see this pair rallying as well, because people would be shifting away from the yen. At the moment, given that we're seeing like a gradual up move in the indices, that's kind of like taken already as a given, like it's continues, so that's why people are not really jumping into the yen yet. However, if we if we start seeing that move, I mean a strong like a sharp move to the upside in the indices, then we could see a sharp move here in AUDJPY as well. However, if the market starts selling off, then well, AUDJPY could take the turn to the south. NZDUSD. Let me just load it up here very quickly. Well, very quickly. Hopefully it's gonna load up. There we go. NZDUSD. Haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and so far the same similar story as with the AUDUSD, but this one here is actually still below the downside line. So in a way, there is a chance for this one to move back down, because we're still below this downside line drawn from the high of the 28th of December. So if we do fall below the 0.61 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, great, more sellers could join in. Now, in terms of economic data, by the way, for New Zealand, we do have a few sets of data coming out. So I think that's on Thursday. Let me just double check very quickly. When did I see that? Or was it next week? Yeah, wait, I think it's gonna be next week, I think. Yep. So okay, that's absolutely fine. That no worries. We get the ANZ business confidence for January. That's coming out tomorrow. But nothing, yeah, nothing major. I kind of thought that there was something from New Zealand that's coming out this week, but let me just I think maybe that's going to be for next week. Let me just quickly double check. That's for my own sake. So I would be building constants. No, it's Australian data mainly, kind of what's the driver. So okay, that's absolutely fine. Look, I think either way, this will still remain vulnerable to US dollar. And yes, I mean the overall market sentiment. So if there's a risk on environment, then we could see this pair actually pushing nicely to the upside. However, if we somehow see like a strengthening of the US dollar here, then it could be a beautiful move to the to the downside here on this one. But again, from the technical perspective, I need to see a drop below the 0.61 territory. NZDJPY. So yes, continues to trade above this upside line. Look, the arrows got skewed a little bit. I think I need to tidy up the chart, and I think I need to simplify it a little bit. So yep, this needs to go. And I will just put the highest point of January as a nice good barrier for now. However, I'm leaning still towards the upside. Why? Because we need to see a break below this downside line right here. So this is basically, that means that we are coiling up, and we are kind of stuck here in this moment. If we get a nice clearance through one of the sides of this triangle pattern, then yes, great. We could consider the next short-term directional move. Let me say it this way. CHFJPY, still monitoring that barrier, the 171.50. I cannot really say anything else apart from continue monitoring that barrier. Yesterday we got a nice pop. We failed to stay again. So we need to see another, pop above this. We need to stay above this territory if we can. If we can, then great. More buyers could join in. But for the downside, maybe a drop below this upside line. It's a little bit on the tentative side. Ideally, I would prefer to see a drop below the 169.30 zone right here, which is around the 50-day EMA as well. But again, if we do fall below this territory, then yes, great. More sellers could join in. USDJPY. So USDJPY is an interesting moment here and an interesting situation. So if we are looking at the upside scenario here, the 148.80 zone is something that I'm watching, and this is something that I still like. Again, nothing else to add here apart from the same thing. For the upside, I need to see a pop of the 148.80 zone. For the downside, ideally a drop below the 146.41 zone right here, and then we could just kind of take it from there. USDCHF, okay, it's still kind of a little bit on the bear side, but look, I think that this fact that we broke the upside line, we fell below the 50-day EMA. Yes, it's seen as a bearish indication. However, somehow something tells me that we could start oscillating around this 50-day EMA, and if we start doing that, now that's going to be a problem for me because I don't like that. And maybe it'll actually go higher again. But at this point, I think it's better if you're looking for some higher levels. I think that it's better to wait for a move above the 0.8728 zone right here, and then kind of take it from there. So long story short, if we pop above the 100-day EMA, then yes, great, more buyers could join in because at the same time we could confirm a forthcoming higher high. USDCAD. There we go. Beautiful. Of course, stronger oil was kind of helping the Canadian dollar here, but the thing is, I think in this case, in this pair, I think is the US dollar, which is the driver, and it's unclear what the US dollar wants right now. It started declining, so I think that this is what the traders are taking advantage of. The sellers are taking advantage of this pair, and yes, as long we stayed below the 1.3415, we continue to trade below that. So look, I have to, although it's not ideal, but still I have to stick to my guns and kind of I will remain bearish, a little bit bearish, and I'll aim for that 1.3340 zone somewhere around here, and then we'll just take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push. I need to see a push above this downside line here, and then we could just kind of take it from there. So long story short, if we do break the downside line, great, I'll go higher. But for now, I'm leaning towards the downside. US dollar against the Mexican peso. Something that I haven't looked for quite a while, by the way. Look, after we broke the downside line, we've traveled higher, so that's great in a way. Now we need to seek for some other opportunities. And at this point, I think this arrow needs to go. So at this point, what I'm looking at here is this, that if we do break above the 100-day EMA, then yes, the next target here is the 200-day EMA right there. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards the upside on this one. However, of course, I'm not excluding the downside scenario, but for me, the downside scenario could come on a drop below that psychological 17 level, because that 17 level did provide very good support, resistance previously, so it's a good level to watch. So if we do fall back below it, I will go to the downside. So far, for now, I am cautiously bullish. GBPUSD, this one is, okay, this one is a roller coaster ride, and look how well this 1.2690 territory is doing a good job. And we remained above this territory so far. I mean, yesterday we fell below it, but we climbed back and stayed above it. Today we're showing like signs that we want to go down again, but again, we're struggling to remain below this territory. So look, while we are bouncing around here, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna observe the price action. I'm gonna observe my 1.2690 zone, and then just wait for either a clearance of this downside line drawn from the high of the 28th of December, or a drop actually below the 50-day EMA. Because at this point, this 1.2690, yes, it's a fantastic level to watch, but we continue to trade above that. So maybe it's going to be seen as a good area of support. Let's see. GBPJPY. So GBPJPY is drifting nicely to the downside. However, I said to you that this whole area right here is something of a neutral one for me. I'm just going to observe it, the price action. If we do pop above the 188.66 territory, great, I will go higher. If we do fall below the 186.17 territory, I will consider a bit of a move to the downside. While we remain here, I'm just observing the price action. EURGBP. So we've tested the 0.8523 territory, one of my targets. Then I said yesterday to you that if we clear that one, then yes, I will go lower. Well, for now, what I'm seeing here is basically the we got a kind of a hold that we did violate this territory. So I think maybe this is not going to carry much significance. I think maybe we need to look for something else. Maybe actually, you know what? No, I think I'll have to stick to that. This is a good area, the 0.85, 23, 23 zone right here. It's a very nice area. So let's see if we can drop again below that and stay. If we can, then yes, I will consider a move lower. For the upside, as I said to you before, I need to see a break of this downside line and maybe one of these levels. But again, I'm not sure yet exactly which one. But for now, I'm just going to stick to this break of this downside line. EURCAD, there we go. Look at this animal. It is pushing nicely to the downside. It's clearing my box here, and I talked about this before. I said to you that if we are in this range, then we look at the prevailing trend. The prevailing trend was to the downside, so almost we managed to clear the upper side. But then look at this. I mean, it held nicely here, and it's now drifting to the downside. So long story short, I will continue targeting the downside, especially as long as it stays below the 1.4550 territory, somewhere around here. If it stays below that, yes, I'm going to continue targeting the downside. Up until where? Well, this is another problem. So up until maybe somewhere around here, initially the 1.4455, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. If it wants to go further south, then yes, great, more sellers could join it. EURUSD. So EURUSD is also looking quite good to the downside, of course, but the 200-day EMA is still on the way. If we can clear that one, then yes, great. I will go for some lower levels. I'll aim for this upside line. So basically, there is a possibility of seeing this one drifting lower. We have this upside line drawn from the low of the 3rd of October of last year, and a good potential target. But hey, for now, let's see if we can get a nice move here to the downside, or let's put it this way. Let's see if we can get a nice clearance of this 200-day EMA again. If that happens, then maybe we could stay below it and go lower. For the upside, I would need to see a push back above the 1.09 territory, somewhere around here, in order to go higher. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much, everybody, for the comments, for your views, for your rocket ships in there. I really appreciate that. So really thank you very much. I hope you found this session useful. I tried to make it as useful as possible, but sorry if something was wrong, but yes, but hopefully everything was good. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate that. So as always, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. See you tomorrow, as always, 7 o'clock GMT time. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.